My name is Nabakwe, CEO and founder Kienyeji Gisto. Kienyeji Gisto is about authentic traditional cooking. We do pre-cooked Kienyeji vegetables and we also sell traditional food. Kienyeji Gisto was started in 2014 as a home-based business, and we have grown to where we are right now. Authentic traditional cooking. Kienyeji is about authentic traditional cooking, and we mostly focus on Western cuisine, which is the Luya cuisine. A village experience in the city, like bringing that kind of food that our grandparents used to eat to today's generation. So that is what we do. It was through a lot of soul searching, and besides that, I was doing other things. I've always tried every business, to be honest. And then I did several things, and to a point that I was doing consulting in the hospitality industry, which I still do, like on the side, because that's my line. I did hospitality management, and so it's easy to do that kind of job. So when I was doing that, I realized that it wasn't really bringing in income like regularly the way I would want to sustain my life, to sustain what I need to do. And so that's when I went into soul searching, like exactly what do I need to do. And I always say like this idea is like God sent, because I went through a period of time like of finding out exactly what would I do. And besides that, I had a dream that I was in this garden of vegetables, and I started wondering what vegetables. And you see, once you've had a dream, then you start connecting that dream. You want to understand exactly how is this coming about? What exactly does it mean? So then I thought about traditional vegetables. Why not? And then I realized, you know what? In our busy lives, we don't have that time to prepare these vegetables. That is number one. Number two, even sourcing the right vegetables that has got that traditional taste, it's not easy. Look at our lives right now. People are very busy because of lifestyles. You'd find women are very busy in the office, or if you have a house help in the house, she is also busy taking care of other chores. They don't have that time to pluck the vegetables. They don't have that time to prepare them. So now I thought, why not prepare that and then offer convenience to people, whereby they just buy a pack ready from me and they go and finish off at home. And to add on that, you know, this idea, looking at it, I'm also offering solutions in terms of nutrition. We are all trying to live healthy nowadays, and most of the time we don't even have time to look for those vegetables. I mean, even preparing them, we don't know. So that is where now Kienyeji comes in and prepares those vegetables the right way, the traditional way. I've always wanted to become an entrepreneur, and you find that most of the time when I was working, I always used to do something on the side as a business. And one of the key things that made me really want to become an entrepreneur, I wanted to be self-employed, to be independent, to do my own things and have time for my children. But I'll be very honest to highlight that my kids were like the main reason, because I wanted to spend more time with my children, because when you're employed, you find that you're kind of limited in terms of the time that you spend with your children. You need that independence. You need to build that financial independence where you don't have to depend on a salary and that kind of stuff. And so I kept trying one thing or the other, and from there I kept building to be, when I was working actually, I remember, I used to make chapatis from the house, and I could take them to work. And when I take them to work, I sell them to my staff, to my team, and I started making money, and I realized, okay, then this is supplementing my income. And then I've sold fish, like deep fried tilapia. I could go source for deep fried tilapia on days when I'm off duty, and I sell them to my friends. I've tried all manner of things, to be honest. And through that, I realized actually I have got that calling in entrepreneurship. And I believe that someday I will get something that will be stable, more stable, and grow to a bigger business. For this venture, it's a very interesting thing because when I started, I just started small with a little money. You know, the way you buy a little vegetables, prepare, sell, and then again you plow back that money to the business. I realized that the demand is there and it's growing. So I started just building on it. And then at some point, life became tough. I tried to deviate and try other things like going back into employment, which I felt if I go back to employment, I'll get good money, because working as a food and beverage manager, you get very good money and you have a lot of privileges. So I felt, let me deviate and try employment because this thing is not bringing money as it would. And then, so when I deviated and then I came back, I actually got a very good opportunity. I traveled out to the US. And then when I came back, I was fired. I was fired, and when I was fired, I didn't have anything to fall back to because I had already closed my business thinking I've gotten this big business opportunity and this big job, and it's paying me good money, so why would I need to do this business of vegetables? Because you've introduced a new concept. You're trying to get people to understand exactly what you're doing. It becomes very hard to penetrate the market. Some people don't understand exactly what are you coming up with. So now, that was the time now, that was the moment when I went through like the lows and things were really tight for me, and of which I got to a point whereby I lost everything in terms of, I was evicted out of my house, I was auctioned, and I had to re-strategize and reorganize myself. And 2017 is when now I decided, let me do this thing seriously and focus on it no matter what. I downgraded my lifestyle for some time and moved from Hurlingham, went to live in Kawangware. And I felt rent in Kawangware was more manageable for me because I could be able to maneuver here and there to do things. And I realized also there it was so easy because I could get the mamas who do the plucking of the vegetables. It was, you can easily get laborers. And besides that, when I was there, now when I wanted to pick myself, when I was trying to pick myself up, I talked to my mom. And I told her exactly what had happened, and all she did was just to send me a sack of vegetables to start on. And that's how I started. Slowly by slowly, I started picking myself up. I started being very loud on social media, talking to people like, this is what I'm doing. And I never buried my head in the sand, like you know, now I'm down and what have you. I just picked myself up. I decided to be positive. And I started with that one sack. And then a few friends actually came together. Because I remember even getting opportunities like from my church asking me if they can give me relief money. I said, no, I still have my hands, I can work. So a few friends came together and they decided to buy me a freezer, a small chest freezer. I remember it was costing around 36,000. So that is what helped me now to be able to be freezing the vegetables. And I was able to pick myself up slowly, like sell, plow back, sell, plow back, sell, plow back, to a point that I felt now the business is pushing me out of the house to a location. And that is when I came here, and I think I was just lucky in a manner that, I mean, when I came, it was during COVID times, and COVID came as a blessing for me. Reason being that there was that restriction of movement, that's number one, and number two, there was the need for people to eat healthy, and here I am offering that solution. So when I moved to this location, I spoke to my landlord. At that time, I didn't have enough money to pay for the deposits and all, and a lot of people had vacated the shops. So the landlord allowed me to take the space and pay slowly. And for some reason or the other, when we opened, I was actually not expecting that kind of response from the customers. And they came in overwhelmingly. And we've built ourselves from 5 tables to what you see right now. service skills are very good, because having that background in hospitality management and being involved with customers all my life throughout my career, so it was so easy. But then now, as I'm working, I have to now mentor my staff to be able to deliver the same way I would deliver. So one of the things is that I'm always in touch with my customer. If there are any complaints, I handle them head on. I never bury my head in the sand. And through that, you always find that even if there's a displeased customer, you turn them back into a loyal customer. Of course, we can't satisfy all. There are some probably who could go without and talk in the background, but I'm that kind of a person who really values building that customer relationship, you know, making sure that I listen to my customers. If there are any issues, I make sure I get them sorted out. We have got a policy, we apologize, and we even give something else in case they want a replacement of whatever they bought and they were not happy about, or the services that we offered and they were not happy about. So through that, we have managed to win a lot of customers like on our side, and we have a lot of loyal customers, which we really appreciate. I'll say that we market our business just through social media, because I believe social media is the best way to market yourself, talk about your business, be out there, showcase what you do, and people discover us through social media. A lot of people have discovered us through social media, and that is how we have grown to what we are. I mean, we are always coming up with something, posting something, and people discover us, boosting our posts, and that is how we have grown. You can find us on Facebook, Kienyeji's, and it must have that slogan of authentic traditional cooking. And then on Instagram, Kienyeji Gisto. We are also on Twitter, Kienyeji Gisto. We are also on Google. We also use Google. I mean, I didn't know that Google is also very I mean, it has also good traffic for marketing. So we are also on Google. So basically all the social media handles, we are there, and we also have our website where you can find us, www.kienyeji.com. Physically, we are inside Mall 66, which is on Ring Road, Kilimani, directly opposite AdLife Plaza. I believe success takes a lot. There has to be discipline, there has to be focus, consistency. I mean, for you to be successful, all those three must come into play. So if I claim I'm successful, I look at my journey, how far I've come and what I've done. And I believe in business, people need to see the changes. I mean, you as a person, are you improving? Are you growing? You even win confidence in your customers. They want to relate with you more, because they can see the money they are bringing you, you're doing something to improve yourself and improve the lives of others. So that is how I look at success. It's very hard to get financing. There are lots of limitations, there are lots of conditions, and which I personally have been working on that to make sure that I am credit worth. Yeah. And then secondly, availability of raw materials. Like now, everything has gone up. Be it fuel, be it food. Like now, vegetables are very expensive because of the sun. And you find even there's no chicken. And you see that's one of our main meals that we sell here. And I won't change the price on my menu. But you see, I'm paying the supplier like much more than what I was paying before. So those are some of the challenges that we go through, like different price fluctuations. They really affect our business in one way or another. So it brings a bit of a strain. So of which I always believe that if we get that support, especially as business people. And then another thing I want to talk about is about licenses. Honestly, we have thousands and thousands of licenses, of which you're like, can't there be a regulation so that we just have specific license, or there's one license that carries like all, then to make it easy for business people. Because if you're a business person, you're changing the lives of people by employing them. you're also making an impact into the economy of this country. So we need to be valued, we need to be respected, because sometimes the way we are handled is really not good. I mean, it looks like if you're a business person, everybody's looking for the wrong. But there needs to be that conducive environment whereby we are able to do business well and we are able to change lives of other people. For someone who's starting a business, based on my personal journey, it takes a lot of patience. You have to be very patient. Don't expect instant results. You have to work. You have to keep improving yourself. Don't settle. Don't feel like you're too comfortable. I mean, don't be too complacent. You need to get to a point whereby you're always looking out for something new to improve, because when you become too monotonous again, you become irrelevant. Nobody is going to be concerned about you. Like personally, every time I go to bed, my head is spinning with thousands of ideas, and I'm thinking, let me introduce this, let me do this. Even the refurb, I mean, it's something that just came like, you need to change your space, give it a new energy, give it, and the response has really been good. It has worked to my favor. And so patience is very important. Consistency is very important. And then you need to have discipline. You cannot run a business without discipline. You cannot run a business without developing good relationships with people, the people you work with, the people around you, other businesses. Those are the things that will help you and move you from one level to another. When I started, it was vegetables. Kienyeji is being a Swahili word meaning local. And the vegetables I'm selling, I still sell vegetables to date. So as in, my concept has 2 in 1, that is the vegetables and the restaurant. So the name Kienyeji means local, so it identifies with a lot of people. And when I was doing the vegetables, they were Kienyeji vegetables. So that's how the name came up, and that's how I registered the company. So then now I put the slogan authentic traditional cooking and patented it. And looking at the bigger picture, like having franchises all over the country, all over the world, that's my bigger dream. And for you to achieve that, you need to have a good identity, a name that identifies with what you're doing, and that even if I went and set up a Kienyeji in Kiambu, it relates with a lot of people. Yes. The main one, I think, was the recognition by UNESCO as one of the traditional African restaurants in Nairobi, and I was featured in African News. That was really a great honor. I've had a lot of guests come to visit, like I had the UN Regional Director for East and Central Africa coming to visit, and because of that, and I think those are some of the highlights. Yes. Our food is spice-free, and we focus mostly on Luya cuisine, because Luyas have got a rich heritage in of food, like Luya and Nyanza, Western Kenya, that is, let me just say Western Kenya and Nyanza, we have a rich heritage of food. And so I felt that, all those kinds of food, it's really hard to find that food that is cooked without a spice in it. The way your grandmother used to make food, and it tastes so natural. So those are the kind of foods that we do. We don't put any spice. The only spice flavor we put is what we call munyu mshereha. Munyu mshereha is actually, in English it's called lye, L-Y-E. It's a tenderizer that is used to make the vegetables, and at the same time it used to be used to make the meats, to make the dried fish, to make, basically all foods you can put munyu mshereha. And munyu mshereha has got a lot of benefits to the body. Number one, munyu mshereha is good for constipation. It's good for constipation, for your gut health, Munyo mshereha is good. It kills cholesterol in food. If you look at the lifestyles of our grandparents, they lived long, free from lifestyle diseases. It's because of that, basically. You can't have all these lifestyle diseases. Like, I remember my grandparents, how they used to eat. And if I look at their lives, to be honest, they died of old age. Just old age, but they were fit and okay. We are really grateful for the support from our customers, and this far we have come, and the growth, and we've got big plans, and we are so grateful for the support we've gotten from people, because now it's not, Kienyeji's is not just about a restaurant serving Luya cuisine. You know, everybody is trying to sample out, because I looked at it this way: if you walked into a Chinese restaurant, will you be served anything else? You'll just eat Chinese food. You walked into an Indian restaurant, what would you eat? Indian food, and you eat that. So we really appreciate, because we are now appealing to all the other tribes. You'll find Kikuyus coming, Kambas coming. They're all getting curious. They all want to test the food. They all love it, you know, because, you know, it's known Luyas are what? Cooks. Personally, right now, if you'd ask me, I'm not looking at having too many stores for myself. Probably just have one that is really good for benchmarking once I set up the franchise module. And I want to see Kienyeji's in Kisumu, Kienyeji's in Mombasa, Kienyeji's in Kiambu, Kienyeji's in Ukambani, everywhere. That is a bigger picture. So I'm working on that simultaneously, and the bigger project right now in the pipeline is setting up the production warehouse, because when you want to set up a franchise, the most important thing is production, a commissary. It's called a commissary, where like you centralize the production. I have one, but it is very small now. We've gotten to a point whereby now it's overwhelmed, so we need a bigger space to be able to meet the demand for production.